Sports can be a bit of a mixed game, pun intended. And while most people think of sports fans and players as aggressive and at times rude, the game does have more than a few moments of respect. So here are 20 moments of sports people showing each other respect. Number 1. Maybe it's because of their competitive nature, or maybe because of how people perceive sports, but it's not at all uncommon for athletes to start to think of their opponents as enemies. And in times like these, it's important to remember that the sportsman spirit is not about causing harm, but helping. Like this tennis player, who ran over to help as soon as his opponent got hit, earning him well-deserved applause. Number 2. Mentors and teachers are extremely important in our journey. But oftentimes, those successful forget that. However, Cristiano Ronaldo is not one of them, as you can see him greet his mentor, Alex Ferguson, with delight after returning from a trip. Number 3. Let's face it, in spite of the constant stereotypes of sports fans as lumbering jocks, there are a bunch of people who like those games as well, a few of them not even able to play. And seeing an athlete pay homage to those fans is always inspiring. Take this football player, for instance, who gifted his signed shoes to a disabled fan who had come to see the game. Number 4. It's a rare sight to see an entire match stop to help one player, but that's exactly what happened in this football match when one of the players injured her foot. Everyone, including the opposing team, stopped to check if she was okay. Number 5. Being a sports legend is not an easy task, and many people often end up forgetting the importance of their actual fans, preferring to stay in their own elite circles. But in this clip, Stephen Curry, the three-point legend of basketball, reminds us about who really matters by gifting his own shoes, no doubt extremely valuable, to a girl who's overtaken with gratitude. Before we move on, if you like these videos, why not subscribe to the channel and ring the bell too? All done? Alright, let's move on. Number 6. If someone is part of an accident, most people would allow them to care about themselves for a moment. However, in this MotoGP race, when a driver got part of an accident, he immediately got up without concern for his own injury to check on the other. Number 7. Often associated with physical invincibility, it's easy to forget that sportsmen, like anyone, can face hard times too, especially in the form of injuries, which are far more common in them anyways. And while medics are common, it's often the people closest to them who help them through the pain. Take for instance this Olympic runner, who pulled a hamstring and couldn't walk, so immediately his father rushed to help him. Number 8. In games, it's just as important to look out for your teammates as it is to score for yourself. But sometimes that comes at a cost, and the best athletes pay the price gladly. Like this volleyball match, where one of the players jumped up and took a hit so that her teammate wouldn't. Number 9. Sports souvenirs are really quite valuable, and so people get quite picky over trying to acquire one for themselves, often fist-fighting in desire. However, there are still faint glimmers of good in this world, like this boy, who, when given a ball from the game, chose not to keep it, but gift it to a little kid. Number 10. The Olympics are probably the world's most prestigious sports events, and winning even minor awards can be a huge achievement. However, in the 5,000 meters men's race in the 2017 Olympics, something remarkable happened. When one of his opponents almost gave up due to exhaustion, another player decided to forsake his own game to help him compete. Number 11. Sure, for most people, the single most important part about a sport is to win. sometimes at any cost. And although such mindsets are effective, there are nicer alternatives. Like when during a track race, a runner trips and falls, causing another runner to fall along with her. Instead of lashing out, help each other stand and walk back. Number 12. Standing next to people used to the spotlight can be a daunting task, especially for children. And so when this kid standing alongside Ibrahimovic tells him that he's nervous, instead of acting cold, he encourages by telling him they're in this together. Number 13. Big-name sportsmen like James Harden can develop a bit of a reputation as distant. With all of their fame and money, it's not impossible for any of them to become a bit lost in their world. But sometimes you get glimpses that show you that they're still kind underneath. Like this time when James sat down with an old lady, of all people, giving her a basketball souvenir. Number 14. Sometimes the loss we suffer is caused by circumstance. And although many of us would jump at those to claim a victory, when an archer misfired due to a technical issue, instead of making use of that lead, the other archer chooses to walk off as well, so they both stand an equal chance at winning. Number 15. Children are often dismissed in games and other places, but the fact remains that they too are deserving of their special moments, especially when it's so easy to make a kid's day. Take this guy, for instance, who looks at a precious kid excited to see him and decides to make it even better by gifting him the hockey puck. And if that wasn't enough, the kid's reaction makes it all the more heartwarming. Number 16. When placed next to literally some of the most talented people in the entire world, it's easy to make fun of regular people, but that doesn't mean that the sportsmen themselves forget how important it is to try hard instead of being discouraged. Take, for instance, this clip in which a fan tries to speak with Ronaldo in Portuguese, and seeing him struggle, the crowd laughs, to which Ronaldo interferes, telling them that he should be proud because he tried hard and that they should show respect. Number 17. Because of their mythical figure in the public sphere, people often forget that athletes live regular lives too, with daily activities, family, friends, and relationships all being important to them. So it's always very nice to see an accomplished sportsman treat their partner in-game, like this guy who hugged his cheerleader girlfriend while in-game. Number 18. The joy of winning a match or even a big point is oftentimes overwhelming, where people get way too excited and forget to even notice what they caused. However, that is not what happened here. See, when the yellow team scored a point, it hit one of the opposing team members square in the head. And instead of taking their time to celebrate, they all immediately showed concern and went to see if she was okay. Number 19. Collateral damage is part of all sports, and passerbys getting hit is not an uncommon thing, but it doesn't mean that we can't be nice about it. Take, for instance, this tennis player. When his hit causes a ball to hit an old woman on the side, instead of the usually expected nod or spoken word, he rushes to her and kisses the hit part, apologizing. Number 20. LeBron James is a huge name in basketball and basically all sports in the world. And with that fame comes a tendency to become dry and distant, where big stars stop intermingling with fans. That, however, is not the case with him. As in this clip, we can see him invite a fan wearing the team jersey and a number 23 necklace to watch the game with him. Now, who wouldn't pay to get that? Well, that sure was a ride, but I hoped it showed you that sports are not all big, brawny physical battles, but have the very important aspect of respect, too, once in a while. On that note, we must end the video. Hope you enjoyed all of our picks for today, and if you did, be sure to leave a like down below. With that done, I'll see you all next time.